Section 11.8 is called Lagrange multipliers. But what it's actually teaching us about is constrained optimization. And this is actually a very cool section in the foundation for a lot of like real world mathematics. And so I want to make sure that we have a good understanding of what we're doing in this section before we dive into all the steps to solve each of these types of problems, because the problems themselves will get very long and it's easy to lose track of what we're trying to do. So just remember, section 11.7 taught us how to find maximum or minimum, or something neat that's neither of those things. This is optimization. So for example, if you have a real world thing you want to maximize or minimize, what you're trying to do is solve an optimization problem. So for example, make plants big, I'm maximizing their growth. Reduce toxin in blood, I'm minimize in concentration. And so for all of those, maximize f of xy or find the critical points of f of xy, those are setting us up to solve optimization problems that could have real world explanations like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to combine this with constraints. And the reason why constraints are important is because in real life, you don't just have some function that you're trying to make really big or really small. You have a whole bunch of real things that go into that. So thinking about those two examples, if I want to make plants big, maybe my plant growth depends on fertilizer. And, I'll spray insecticides to kill off pests or to promote growth. Both cost money, and I am not made of money. And so a constraint for me would be, okay, I have $50 to spend on my large collection of plants. And so I can fertilize them, I can, spray for bugs, and I want to get the most possible growth out of it with my $50. Or reducing toxin in blood. Maybe you can, I don't know, you can flush, well, not the blood. You can flush the body with something to bind dangerous toxins. But high doses are unpleasant. So you're again limited because there's only so much you can do before you start like causing damage to a patient, but you do want to reduce the dangerous thing in their blood. So you're trying to minimize the problem that came in without introducing a new one, which is your constraint. And for us, this is all going to look like math. And the optimization part should look familiar. So you're going to be told to minimize or maximize f of xy. So for example, f is growth of plant. X could be amount of fertilizer. Just pretend I wrote fertilizer well. Y could be amount of pesticide. Would be kind of our interpretation of it, but the way it's shown to you in one of these problems is just minimize or maximize f of xy. And then it'll be subject to some constraint, g of xy equal to c. So g could be like cost of buying X and Y. C could be dollars I own. And so an example here would be, I don't know, let's say that if X is my amount of fertilizer, I don't know, like that. I'll make them cool. So as fertilizer goes up, my growth is better. As pesticide goes up, my growth is much better because pests are very bad. But maybe my cost is that 1 unit of fertilizer costs me $1, whereas a unit of pesticide costs me $5, I guess. And C, I said, was $50 is how much I'm willing to spend. All these numbers are made up and no good, but I'm just trying to show you this is what a problem will look like. This is kind of the explanation behind it. Usually we go the opposite direction. I show you an abstract problem, we do it a bunch of times, and then I show you a word problem, and then make you interpret it as one of these abstract things. But for this section, because it's so tied to real world problems and the problems are so long, when we're doing one of these long problems, I just want you to have this motivation in the back of your head.